What's up, everybody? Welcome back or welcome to CCG Astrology. All right, new moon in Capricorn. Let's talk about it. All right, so we have a new moon in Capricorn happening at 28 degrees, the final degrees of Capricorn. All right, so the entire 30 days have pretty much played out at this point, depending on when you're watching this or when I upload it. But this is an anaretic degree, meaning that it's a finality point. And in the sign of Capricorn, it's a really big deal, okay? Capricorn season was not for the faint of heart. What is Capricorn energy? Capricorn energy is all about bossship, okay? Yes, I made that up. It's all about your authority, inner and outer, okay? It's all about your external authority, okay? It's all about structure. It's all about longevity. It's all about things that stand the test of times when we're talking about Capricorn energy. So it will go deeper into like consistency and like commitments and responsibilities and limitations and knowing your limits and knowing your restrictions, or even being limited or restricted. You know, it's a really complicated type of energy. And I say that because it requires a lot of maturity and wisdom, right? That's the main word when it comes to this Capricorn energy. And over the next 2 weeks, where it's going to require a lot of wisdom, okay? So let's get into it. The 10th house is activated when it comes to Capricorn because that's your status, your reputation. But most importantly, as it applies to this energy, it's the world stage, okay? This is things that are happening on the world stage for people to see. This is the public here, all right? So be mindful that there are going to be a lot of people expressing themselves over these next 2 weeks in a very high fashion, right? And this may be from a wise point of view. You may have a lot of wise leaders, a lot of wise authoritative energy showing up, right, over the next 2 weeks. But also this could be on the lower end, a lot of people who maybe lack wisdom, okay? And wisdom is something that you have to gain from trial and error. You know, you gain knowledge first, information first. You know, you apply it, you know, trying it out, seeing if it works or not. And then boom, you gain wisdom from those experiences. So that's a very high key thing. We have the asteroid, which is close by and conjuncting this new moon in Capricorn. And this is even speaking more to like the wisdom that you have to have. You know, at 28 degrees, this is not like the beginning. This is where you almost need a level of discernment because of the lessons and the trials that are coming towards you at this time. You know, it's really not a light energy, okay? You gotta be on your toes and you have to be aware of the lessons that are being presented to you, you know, because there may have been moments in the past because we're, like I said, at the late degree. So in the beginning of this month or at the beginning of this Capricorn season, there were probably things presented towards you where there was opportunities or there was just things that needed to have been learned. Capricorn is all about lessons, all right? And I also like to add in that it's sextiling to Saturn in Pisces. So lessons, karma, wisdom, integrity, extremely important, all right? So back to what I was saying, you know, it's important to have wisdom, right, that only comes from knowledge that you've tried and applied, because there can be situations that present themselves in your life purposely, right, and it's meant for you to apply that knowledge or information that you picked up on at this proper time. Or on a higher level, it's meant for you to recall the wisdom that you've already gained throughout previous experiences and to apply it to the current circumstances that may present itself, because this is very, very testy energy, y'all. And so over the next 2 weeks, know that there are a lot of tests and lessons that will show up that require you to have a level of wisdom. So wherever Saturn is in your chart, you need to have a lot of wisdom in that area, okay? But collectively, we're going through this together, you know, activating the 10th house. shameless plug, get a natal chart reading with me if you need some guidance, or you just want to look deeper into your Capricorn placement in your natal chart and understand like where your wisdom lies, because we all have this Capricorn energy and ability to gain this higher perspective of wisdom about life and just have these different experiences that have, you know, garnished us a lot of wisdom, and we can now, you know, teach it back to others, support other people, be an advocate, you know. But you will have the opposite of this showing up, because look at all of the stellium planets that we have in Capricorn. Okay, we got Mercury, we got Mars, okay, we got the sun, okay. This is going to bring about a lot of combative energy. You got a lot of authoritative energy showing up, you know, whether for better or worse. So it's important for you to stand in your inner authority should you be tried. Okay, now the opposite, and I say that lightly, like it's not an energy of Capricorn is an earth sign. It's very much so grounded, stern, stable, secure in itself. It doesn't go looking for anything, you know. It's very much so a stable, wise energy. But should the opportunity or a situation present itself, there should be a level of wisdom that can be applied to basically maintain your security, your longevity, your reputation, your status. Okay, these are all important. All right, now the opposition is to the asteroid, or I'm sorry, the opposition is to Cancer. Okay, and there's really no energies that are really opposing, no specific asteroids or planets that are opposing this new moon, but we do have honorable mentions, Jupiter and asteroid Venur. Now this fourth house opposition is challenging you again to have a level of awareness and discernment around emotional like power struggles or complexities or dilemmas. And this is the fourth house, so this is dealing with the family. Okay, this is dealing with your internal world. If it's not dealing with your family, you know, this is dealing with your emotions. Okay, Cancer rules your emotion, your intuition. Okay, so it involves you having to understand a level of, it involves you having to rely on a level of your emotional maturity and your intuitive discernment at this time. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you need assistance with that, you know, you need assistance understanding if you're connecting with your intuition at times versus certain different emotions or certain different anxieties or certain different feelings, talk to me. I got you. Now let's go into the square here to the probable challenges. You know, we're gonna start out with the first house, right, which is to Aries. And this is about your identity. Okay, this is about your character. This is about integrity. All right, when we get to this Aries energy square into this Capricorn energy, and the asteroid Phaethon is here. Okay, so Phaethon is this asteroid that speaks about a steep learning curve. All right, so again, many are called, few are chosen. There are going to be people who fail a lot of these lessons, because I spoke about how Saturn is sextiling to this new moon in Capricorn. Saturn isn't light, it isn't fluffy, it's very harsh, it's very restrictive, it's very limiting, but it's also very rewarding to those who pass tests, so to speak. If you know, you know. Now with Phaethon here, this is an energy where there's a steep learning curve that's required at this time. So the challenge is, did you learn the lesson in the past or not? Do you know how to apply the lesson? Did it make sense? Did you make sense of it? Did you try to integrate it? Like, it's very much so self-focused, and it's an internal battle. Now you will have situations where things show up, problems show up, challenges show up, dilemmas show up, and it requires you to be able to apply that wisdom that should have been basically in your archive because of previous trials and errors that you have, you know, tried out as a result of the knowledge and the wisdom that you gain, or the knowledge and information that you gain. Now, if the situation shows up and you're not able to apply that wisdom correctly, it's okay, right? It's not the end of the world, but you do fail that lesson. because this is about tests and lessons, and you do start back at the beginning and you go back through the cycle. If you are able to apply that wisdom and things show up and it's a repeated cycle and it's something that you already have gained authority of, whether that be an inner authority or some outside of you, whatever the case may be, it shows up and you have this understanding of how to apply certain wisdom and information that you've already previously learned in a way that maintains your security, your longevity, your reputation, your status. If you apply that, then you get rewards from Saturn at this time. You get rewards just from you standing in excuse me, you standing in integrity, okay? And the thing about it, wisdom is required in order to maintain integrity, all right? Because the thing about integrity is being able to stay authentic to yourself, whether in the public or in private, okay? So it takes a level of wisdom, information, knowledge, tried and tested measures, be able to stand in what you need to stand in regardless, right, of who's there or what's going on, because something's always watching is what we must know, and that's that Saturnian influence. You know, a higher power is always watching, taking note. There's rewards as well as penalties to always be given out according to how we're operating in life, you know. Now we get into the last and final square to Libra, and it's square into the asteroid Pandora into Libra in the 7th house. Okay, and Libra is all about fairness and balance and justice. So I do feel like this is an energy where a lot of justice is going to be playing out. And Pandora is an energy where, you know, you think about the mythology of the Pandora's box, and it's like everything came out of it except hope. You know, all these things came out. I just feel like this is a mystery energy. Like, it's like, have you had integrity? Do you have the proper wisdom to protect yourself should you need to? Do you have intuitive discernment? You know, I also feel like, side note, we're moving closer into Pisces. You know, we're going into Aquarius season, and then we're going to go into Pisces season. And Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, you know, so this is an energy where it's a completion, you know, and then we start with Aries, which is spring, you know. So I just feel like things are reaching ahead right now. Wisdom is required to move through these next phases, especially these next 2 weeks, so that you don't get caught up in any unnecessary loops and spirals, because, you know, life is very interconnected, you know. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of any tests and trials that try to, you know, provoke you, and make sure that you're leaning back on your wisdom and things that you have learned, you know, throughout this period. So without further ado, peace.